As you might recall, the findings of the 2023 census that revealed that Namibia's population is 70% is young people aged below 35 years. So UNFPA saw it fit to try and establish a panel, but most importantly, it's a platform made up of a diverse group of young people from all 14 regions to amplify young people's voices and also to advise and inform the design, the implementation of our programs. Because at UNFPA we work closely with young people to try and really ensure that young people are empowered, young people have the opportunities that they need for them to fulfill their potential. So this platform is crucial for Namibia's development because, one, like I said, the population is youthful. So we need to have these young people at the table. They need to contribute to decision making. They need to contribute to our programs, our policies, because we want whatever we are planning, whatever we are implementing is responsive to their needs. And how best can we do that? It's if we have them on the table. Hence the establishment of this for youth advisory panel.
How does UNFPA ensure that the voices of young people are not just held, but also acted upon in national policy making?
So with UNFPA, what we do really, we try to engage with young people. And when we say engage, it's really meaningful engagement. We do so in different ways. I want to give you an example of a policy that is being revised. You know, we have different policies in the countries, ministry-specific policies. And I could take an example of the Lena pregnancy policy, a policy that we are supporting to revise now with the Ministry of Education, Innovation, Youth and Sport. Many times young people complain that they are not involved, they are not consulted, they are not, heard. So at UNFPA, we strive so much to ensure that when we have these types of consultation, when we have capacity building platforms, when we have conferences, we support young people to attend these conferences. We support young people to attend this consultation. And what we are trying to do with the Youth Advisory Panel is really to encourage and equip young people with the skills and knowledge how to meaningfully engage with policymakers, with office bearers, and to really contribute to the development of the young people themselves and translating into the development of the country.
Can you tell us more about the selections process for this year's Youth Advisory Panel cohort? What criteria were used to ensure fairness and inclusivity?
Thank you. So the Youth Advisory Panel, this cohort is the first cohort for the Namibia UNFPA country office. And it's going to run for 2 years, 2025 to 2026. We are planning to have a new cohort every 2 years. So last year, around June, we sent out a call through different platforms, our social media platforms, radio, newspapers, and through youth groups for young people who are passionate about sexual and reproductive health and rights. As you might know, UNFPA is the Sexual and Reproductive Health Agency within the United Nations. So we're looking at young people that are passionate about SRHR, passionate about youth engagement and youth development, and they needed to be between the ages of 18 to 30. We wanted to have 2 young people per region, gender balance, meaning we wanted to have a male and a female. And they applied. They tendered their interest, of which the application went through a review process and interviews. And through these interviews, we had, with inclusivity, you need to be very deliberate or intentional. So we wanted to ensure that this youth advisory panel consists of young persons with disabilities, young persons from marginalized communities, and really to make sure that all 14 regions of the country are represented. And that's how we came up with this group of 30 young people.
How representative is the panel in terms of regional, gender, and cultural diversity?
I think I touched on that already in your previous question, where I said we made sure that all 14 regions are represented in the youth advisory panel. And in terms of gender, we also wanted to ensure that there's a gender balance. Hence, we had a male and a female. We're very intentional with the fact that each region should be represented by a male and a female. We also try to look at regions where we have young people from the marginalized community. We also have representation from those communities. So I would like to say the panel is really a good representation of, all the 14 regions, young persons with disability, young persons from marginalized communities.
Namibians youth face various challenges such as HIV, mental health issues, and gender-based violence. How will this panel help address those challenges on a policy level?
So really this youth panel, the objective or one of the main purpose of the panel is to facilitate the exchange of information and knowledge about best practices, lessons learned from youth policies, programs, interventions that are in their communities, capacity building activities that they might have maybe attended. And with this, we hope that when these young people are exposed or these young people are empowered through the various capacity building initiatives that even us at UNFPA plan to do on different topics, we want to equip them with the correct knowledge, with the correct skills. And when we equip them, we want them to go back to their regions and share the information with their fellow young people. Peer education is one that is very effective. When a young person teaches or creates awareness amongst fellow young people, they're likely to really get the message and apply it to their daily lives. And one of these, like you clearly said, the issues of HIV, issues of mental health. How do they engage with their fellow young people to make sure that they give them the correct information to behave in a more responsible manner, to behave in a way that they don't engage in risky sexual behavior, to engage in a way that, they build some sort of resilience in themselves. So we are taking these young people through different trainings on different topics with the hope that they get equipped and take it back to their regions and engage with other young people in their regions on ways on how to really try and prevent or deal or tackle with these issues that are faced by young people.
So what mechanisms are in place to ensure that feedback and input from the youth panel are communicated to government partners and stakeholders?
Yeah, so one thing that I would like to say is that, remember, these young people are still young people, not different from the fellow young people in their regions. They still are a representative of different youth groups. They're still part of higher learning institutions where they come from or their workplaces. For us, really, why we established this youth panel, we just wanted to establish a mechanism for open dialogue and exchange between these young people, for them to really inform us what are those issues that young people are facing, what do they think are some of the strategies that could be responsive to these issues. And when we work with them at UNFPA, we do not limit them to work with other stakeholders, with government, when there's consultation in their regions, with government ministries. They ought to be there and make their contribution. And most importantly, through the advisory panel, where I said we also take them through some capacity building on issues of gender-based violence, issues of sexual and reproductive health and rights, issues of mental health. So the knowledge that they gain from these capacity building initiatives that we give them at UNFPA can really equip them to better them to engage in different types of consultation, in different types of policy development or revisions within their regions.